Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Oh, I don't even know what video this is. It's either part 2 or part 3 of the WPL B36-3 transporter. As you can see, the Heng Long M41 Walker Bulldog tank is sitting on it very, very securely. And I'm going to show you how I did that. I did weigh the tank. The tank weighs 1 ounce shy of 5 pounds. And I think I was mistaken if I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, I saw another YouTube video where they were complaining about how the 36-3 is underpowered. And in certain circumstances, I think it's actually the ESC technically overheats and it like stops and actually the lights shut off. And whoever that was mentioned that they thought the newer ones were coming out with 370 motor in them, and I was wrong. Mine does not have a 370 motor in it. And I'll show you on the floor, and I'll try to replicate it, but I did put this on the floor on my carpet and in tight turning corners and backing up, trying to feather in slow speeds. I could get it to do that. I mean, I guess it would be over torqued and it would shut off. I just let off the trigger and get back on it, and it works. But in my parts bin, actually in the FJ40 that I'm not doing anything with, I did buy the all aluminum Amazon, the aluminum gearbox, gear reduction, and with a 370 brush motor. And I have ran that chassis, so I know that this is geared a lot lower than this. I know in my last video somebody commented, you're going to want the 2-speed in this for that low range, and I don't disagree with that at all. But all the 2-speeds are out; they're out of stock, and I'm not real sure about the little more expensive metal geared or metal gearbox 2-speeds. But I already have this one, and I know it's lower geared, and I had it apart to grease it, and it's pretty much bulletproof. And I think it's pretty much bolt in, plug and play. So I'll do a little video and try to get this motor to overheat or whatever it's doing. And then I'll switch the gearbox out, hopefully tonight, and do another video and show it running, and hopefully get this video out tonight. But back to the trailer. So the tank, almost 5 pounds. Here's what I came up with. And it's going to be good. I'm gonna repaint this whole assembly anyways and do some weathering to sort of match the tank. So all I did is took some 1 inch by 1/2 inch by 1/16 aluminum angle iron. I got it at McMaster Car. I'm thinking I saw it at my local Farm and Home, Farm and Fleet. Tractor Supply might sell it. How to match? I want to keep it all one piece, so you can see where I just cut it with a hacksaw and kind of ground it out a little bit with a cutoff wheel, and then just bent my angles in my vise, and then I screwed it on with some 3mm metric hardware and put lock nuts behind it, and then I did it on the ramps also, and they're extended and they will fold down all the way to the ground. So this got me, I have a tape measure handy here. This got me, it's like 7.5 inches wide versus the 5.5 that it was stock. And like I said, that tank fits on it perfect. I'm sure it will. I have not drove it on and off yet. I want to finish it. My plan is, like I said, I'm going to paint this and weather it. And I'm going to take, probably not this thin. I have the next size thicker. I'm going to take some balsa wood and I'm going to cut strips and match this aluminum angle to make it look like, that they put wood down on it, for the tank to drive up and on. And I'm going to weather the wood and, maybe put some stains on it It'll look cool. Won't look like, you know, I fabbed up some aluminum and threw on there when I'm done with it. It's all going to blend in with the trailer. I will say, since I made it solid like this, I didn't want to cut out the wheel wells because the wheels can actually go higher anyways. I thought about cutting this part out of it so you can see the tires, but I'm going to leave it the way it is for now. But what I did was, behind each screw, I don't know if you can see that, I put 2 3mm flat washers behind each screw just to space these out enough so that the tires don't rub it and they get full suspension. So I'll do a quick little video driving it here in the floor, and I'll try to get it to overheat or whatever it does and get it to shut down. And then in the middle of painting Mike Kirby's day cab project, I'll try to get the metal gearbox, single speed gearbox in it, and then we'll do another test. Yeah, see there, it just did it. Don't mind the messy floor. Yeah, see there, the light's blinking, and I have it in reverse, and yeah, so then if you just let off everything. If you go faster, it doesn't seem to be an issue, but you know, if you really want to go slow and play with the throttle, yeah, see there, it's doing it again. So yeah, we're gonna swap out that metal gearbox with the 370 motor in it, see if that gets better. Well, that's with the aluminum single speed that I took out of the FJ40 with the 370 brush motor. I've had no issues with it. That's full speed reverse. Let's see if I can't load this tank up. Try at least. Yeah, see that? So I'm gonna paint it and then put wood on there. I don't think it's too slippery. Oh, there we go. Not quite centered, but close enough. Shut the tank down. Put the ramps up. And off we go. Doesn't turn very good, especially on the wood floor. Definitely no power issues though. I almost believe, I've never seen the 2 speeds yet, but I have to believe that this thing right here is geared probably what the single speed is on the 2 speed. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, I haven't seen one. But yeah, there's no issues with it. Yeah, so yeah, big improvement. Yeah, so as you saw in that video, yeah, the single speed aluminum gearbox with that 370 motor is definitely way better than stock motor and transmission. And I'll kind of show, it was pretty much bolt and play. It went in there, you know, the two holes are already there. You have to take two screws out on the inside of here to get the cab off. Pull these side plates off, and there's two screws inside here. This gearbox takes bigger screws. They're actually 3 millimeter, so I had to drill these holes out in the gas tank and whatever that side compartment is to get those screws back in. And then this piece under here that this snaps onto goes across the motor. The single speed with the 370 sits up a little higher, so I had to notch some of it with an X-Acto. And then I actually took a lighter and I heated it up and stuck it down on the truck where it goes and kind of let it form to it. Probably the correct way if you were really detail oriented is things don't line up super right, but once I paint it and weather it, you won't be able to tell. I guess you probably could have cut the center section out of that and used some styrene and build it up and just made it taller. And I don't think it would have affected the spare tire mount. But I just heated it up and went that route. And one other thing, because I think this is something new on the B36-3 versus the other six wheels, they swap the output in the transmission so that it goes in reverse rotation as the front. And they did that because evidently it had a torque twist, they called it, with the rear axles. So in the FJ40, you would have used this lower transmission output, so both rear ends axles went the same direction. I wasn't thinking that at the time, so I had to cut the drive shafts a little bit. They were a little too long, and I put it on that one, and then the back axles turned in the opposite direction. Luckily, on the one speed, there's another output up there that turns in the opposite direction, and my drive shaft is long enough. But if I didn't mention it in my last video, I have metal drive shafts coming, all three. And on Amazon, I bought some metal axles, not WPLs that like look stock, but they're actually like a beefy, square looking, I consider a truck axle. Uh, they were like 30 or 40 bucks for all three already put together. I hope I'm not disappointed. They look like they should go right on. Those won't be here for another couple weeks, you know, coming from across the seas. So when I get them, I'll do that. I think the steel drive shaft should be here this weekend, but I think I'm going to wait till I get the axles and do it all at once. But something I do want to look into, while I had this all apart anyways and doing this, I thought, you know, I had, I believe this is only a 15 or a 20 amp, and or maybe it's 30 amp, but it's 2S speed controller out of the FJ40. I have a FlySky GT3C that I use in whatever vehicle I really want to put it in because I have a bunch of these receivers. So I thought, okay, I'll throw it in there, and we'll upgrade the electronics while we're at it and put a little better speed controller in it. But what I wasn't thinking, or I didn't realize, this actuator, and we're going to open that up on camera, The actuator that runs the ramps is just 2-wire, but if you look at it, they're 2 wires in each end post, not side by side like traditional, well, like the actuators I put in the dump truck. So you plug that into your receiver. Well, of course, your receiver wants to go into bind mode. That's when I figured out, okay, this isn't right. So my guess is this is not a receiver. So we're going to open that up because I think it's 4 screws. We'll open that up and we're going to see what that is. And if it's like just an actuator motor, I might have a solution. The only other option is I think you could probably put a servo in there. I don't see why not. Oh, it's all hooked up. Okay, there you go. So that is exactly what it is. If I could get it set back in. It's a gear motor. I mean, it's actually a servo, I would say. I mean, it is a servo with 2 wires. So if I leave that the way it is, because it looks like that's molded in, so that holds that thing in there. If I leave that the way it is and don't switch it to a servo to plug right into the receiver, what I did get just today, it's a knockoff of a Hobby Wing, but I'm sure they're all made in the same place. It's basically a Hobby Wing 1060, which if you watched my dump truck, the Nylon dump truck video, the Hobby Wing 1060 is what I use to power the actuators on that. If there's room in here, I could put the Fly Sky Electrics back in it and just switch the posts and these wires so they're side by side and hook them right up to the motor leads, and this can be my controller for this. But what I'm not sure about on the Fly Sky, that GT3, is the 3rd position button is just a button. It's not an actual 3-position switch. If I remember correctly, when using those like to run a winch, if you push it, your winch will go out and then you actually have to hit it to stop it. So I'm not sure how that works. If I do go this route and just play with this, I'll do another video on it and update it and show you what I did. But looking at this now and how this is, I think it would be way easier just to put a servo here and run a longer lead, and you could run it right off the controller if I go that route and put the GT3 in. So I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the stock electronics. It works. I just thought, you know, well, if something happens to that board, I'd like to have another option, especially since that did do its overheat thing with the stock motor in it. We'll see. If I have any troubles with it, we'll look at that again. So anyways, that's where we're at. That's how this is. So probably maybe this weekend I'll start scuffing some stuff up and I'll get some primer on it, and maybe I'll start getting some paint on it and then start some weathering. And when I do that, I'll definitely come back and do another video. So that's it for now. I'll catch you on the next video.